Hey, welcome to Jonjo's Fast Facts, and after Jack did his video, a lot of people came and requested that I do fast facts about me. So yeah, here we are. I went from 200 subscribers to 1,500 really quickly, so thank you all for that. At the end of this video, instead of doing bloopers, I'm actually going to do a Q&A. So I've asked on YouTube and Twitter for questions that people want to know. And well, I'll answer them there instead of the bloopers, so stick around to the end for that. Can you give me a shout out in the video in the start?
Yeah.
Alright, I guess so.
Yeah.
Ishan J. Mala.
Yeah.
Thank you for the comment. Can you say Ishan J. Mala?
Stay mama.
Close enough. Good boy. Ishan J. Mala? A bit quiet, but good enough. When I was writing this script, I actually thought that I might be the first person to do this, but apparently not. My good friend Berryman, which the link will be in the description because he made a video, top 10 fast facts about me, and it was actually really good. So if you wanted to check him out, the link is in the description. Thanks, Berryman. So now here's my top 10 fast facts about Jonjo's Fast Facts. Anyone who knew me at school probably wouldn't believe this one, but I have actually written a book. It was actually intended to be a game, so I didn't mean to write a book. I was just trying to develop a game, but I struggled with coding too much, so I decided to write a book instead so that I still had something from what I did. The book is more of a post-apocalyptic world, set a bit far in the future where zombies had destroyed the world. But the focus isn't on the zombies or the infection, it's more about the war that's about to unfold. The first book which I have written, which the link will be in the description below, and I'll set it free for a certain amount of time after this video. So the book focuses on a group of survivors as they are introduced to two factions. The SGA, which are very similar to the military and the United Nations, and they live at sea on boats, massive ships and aircraft carriers, and they're moving towards the land again to rebuild, set up in cities. And the Revenants are a large group of survivors who are very against the SGA because, well, the SGA are very hostile to anyone that isn't them. So the war is about to unfold in front of these survivors and they have to pick a side. After this book, I was going to write a sequel, but it was going to split off into two different books. One if the group of survivors joined the SGA, and the other if the group of survivors joined the Revenants. But an interesting part with the Revenants is there was actually preachers, which is a person that's sort of infected, and he comes along, he walks through the undead, and he's the one who spreads the word of the Revenants and tells people what they're doing, what they're planning, and recruiting people for him. If you're interested in this book, the link's in the description below. I'll set it free for a certain amount of time, and let me know what you think about it. Leave a review on it. So this isn't my only YouTube channel. No, I have another channel which, if you want to hear more about, because that was the first attempt at YouTube, then stick around because it's in here somewhere. But even these two channels of mine are not the only channels I'm associated with. I've collabed with Real World Magic, Berryman. I edit for another channel which is brand new, Rainy Days. That's my wife's channel. I edit that video and I help her with it, but she's the host. But I'm also one of the voice actors on Sinister RP, where he does a spin-off of Dragon Ball Z, along with his own original story called Dark World.
Are you kidding me?
Detective Nelson, you may want to see this.
What now?
It's right there, Detective. It appears there's a victim with a large blade pierced through his head, and we're fused to this garbage bin.
What in God's name you do this?
Sinister Apprehension also drew me anime styled, and it was actually Jennos Tarantulas that helped him do the colouring on that work. So thanks both of you. And if you want to see any of the channels, all of their links will be in the description below. I always struggled at school, and it took quite a long time to find out why. Because other than having dyslexia, which was noted relatively early, but the support for dyslexia just wasn't enough. there were still some things that people just couldn't help me with. It took a very long time to figure out the full reason. In fact, it was my second college that finally figured me out. Now, what I was told from them is that I have Erlin syndrome. Now, Erlin syndrome is more of a sensory issue than it is a learning difficulty, but that, along with dyslexia, it made it very difficult for me to learn. However, when they figured that out, things started to change. So when I was 17, that was the age I actually learned to recite the alphabet, which was only 2 months after I found out that I had Erlin syndrome. And it was, I think, 2 weeks later that I learned the Arabic alphabet, and 3 weeks after that I learned the Russian alphabet, which just shows that learning isn't difficult for some people, it's just different for some people. Over the years I've accumulated a few injuries, so I guess here's a bit of a mini story time. One of these wasn't avoidable, but the other two, they were avoidable, and I'm just a bit dumb, alright? So yeah, when I was around the age of 9, I actually knocked myself out with a skateboard, which Berryman also covered in his video, so just remember to check that out at the end of this video, links in the description. So I thought I'd try out skateboarding, and I dropped in on the half pipe, and this was my first time doing it, and I got about halfway, I'd made it that far, but I fell off. I landed on my back, I hit the back of my head, and the skateboard went up the other side of the ramp, hit the coping, went into the air, and landed about here. And I think it really hurt, but I don't really remember because I got amnesia from that. So I actually don't have any memories before the age of 9, which to me is kind of normal, I guess. I mean, I don't think many people have memories of that long ago. Now here's one that Berryman didn't actually cover, but I actually bit part of my tongue off. So I was on a seesaw, and my stepbrother at the time was on the other side. And, well, he wasn't being very gentle, so it kind of hurt. I pushed off, and the seat came back up and smacked me in the jaw, and part of my tongue flew out, and there was blood everywhere. My first reaction was to run to the nearest people, which unfortunately for the couple that was in one of their gardens, I just burst through their gate, crying with blood down my face. I wish I could remember their reaction. They were really nice people, they sorted me out and everything. It was really weird because I looked in the mirror and I could see like the layers of my tongue. It was disgusting. I don't suggest it. Now the last one, this isn't really avoidable, but as my body grew, my spine grew faster, which crushed one of the discs, which means I now have a herniated disc, which is actually quite painful most of the time, but on the rare occasions it's barely noticeable, which is nice. The herniated disc had been there for quite a long time and it was okay, until I had an accident at work where some alcohol crates had fallen off the back of a lorry and landed, well, on top of me. I was able to push the boxes off, it wasn't too bad, but afterwards I had a sharp pain up my back. That really aggravated the herniated disc, which was awkward at the time because my wife was heavily pregnant with our first child and she ended up caring for me for quite a bit. Some of you may have seen that I actually recorded a video inside of an empty cinema, which was my Avatar 2 fact. And some people in the comments wondered how I got into an empty cinema to record. And, well, I didn't hire it because that's way out of my budget range, but I actually worked there. So I have a key and I just went in and did it. I had permission to, it's great. Merlin Cinemas is the best job I've ever been at. My name isn't actually John Joe. I know, shocking, I had to check my birth certificate and everything. My name is actually Jonathan. Now, my wife's always called me Joe because I prefer it. But when I was working at a supermarket, the manager there insisted I go by John because they had too many Joes working there already. But because my wife was working there before I was, people had already gotten used to the name Joe to refer to me. So when I started working there, some people started calling me Joe and some others called me John. And then one person over the tannoy got confused. Help required at the tills, please? Can Joe... No. John can... Oh, just John Joe get to the tills, please. Or something along those lines. Anyway, the name John Joe after that kind of stuck. And it wasn't long after I left that job I started my YouTube channel, which was originally called John Joe's Top 10s, and I later rebranded to John Joe's Fast Facts. After studying Uniform Public Services for 3 years at college, I thought I'd have a good chance of getting into the police force. So I applied to London, Manchester and Gloucester and got rejected before even getting to the interview stage. Originally I actually wanted to be a dog handler at the airports, you know, checking for drugs, and wanted to become a linguist as well, which is when I mentioned about my Arabic and Russian before. Not that I can really remember much of that anymore. So unfortunately I never got the chance to become a police officer. I also tried to apply as a prison officer, but with the same results, no interview. Ultimately I ended up stuck behind a checkout for 10 years. And finally, after quitting my supermarket job and starting YouTube, I can finally become a police officer on Dark World. See, dreams do come true. So my first YouTube video wasn't actually on this channel. I have another channel which is currently named Dino Joe, where I may be doing some more ARK videos on there. But my first actual video was about Minecraft and a castle that took me about 3 months to build. And it took that long because it's got the castle on top, an underground village, another underground exit tunnel and chambers with traps and stuff which lead to the nether for your escape route. And when you see all that grass around and that mountain, it was in a flat desert, so that was all built by me. That's why it took so long. And this is all built in creative mode on Xbox, so like at the time especially I didn't even know if there was admin commands or any copy and pasting or mods. So I placed every single block. I didn't really have much of a social life back then. So I carried on with my Minecraft builds. I tried to recreate the Pokemon world. I started at Pallet Town, I got all the way to Cerulean City, I created Mount Moon. I don't think there is anything left. Shortened it. But I think I've already shown this, so I know I haven't done the inside of here before, so I'll show you in here. Pretty small city. This is Mount Moon. It's a big mountain, many routes that go, so yeah, let's go in. I am going to fill in a roof, so it's only going to come up to about here or so. I'm going to fill in a gap that goes across and try and make it a bit more varied, so it's not just going to be a hollow mountain. Then me and my friends had some fun in an underwater Hunger Games arena that I made. I also built a large tree with a place inside and a floating mountain, which was pretty much inspired by Avatar. But eventually I stopped doing gaming on that channel and I started to do some other things, like where I made a cup of tea but I put chocolate milk in it instead. That wasn't good. I also did the ice bucket challenge and the ice bath challenge on that one, which is where the image came from of my naked little chest on Jack Sucks at Life's video and Kairos Best's video, which was amazing to see that I actually got onto those YouTubers' channels. And another thing I noticed about it was Jack stood on his chair going, "John Joe, John Joe." Then on Kai's video, Kai stood on his chair to show me a tattoo. So if another YouTuber does a video on me, I'm going to be seeing if they've stood on their chair, because I don't know, I think it's funny. I consider myself an atheist, but I do have a sort of belief system which has two main points. Number one is all life is equal, which sounds simple, but it's not. You see, I don't understand vegetarians, but I understand vegans, because there is a difference. Vegetarians won't eat meat because it kills the animal, but they'll eat a plant instead, which kills the plant. Like a potato. If you harvest the potato, you kill the plant. So that's still a life, and while all life is equal, I don't get it. But with vegans, they won't eat something if an animal was mistreated or hurt in the process. So some things that might be vegan might also not be vegan. It depends on how it's prepared and made, which makes sense to me because that's based on the harm the animal endures. But to be fair, I don't actually change my diet for this belief because, well, I couldn't actually think of anything that I could eat. Because I can't eat a cow because it's, well, alive. I can't eat a potato because it would kill the plant. And I can't eat stuff like apples because, well, they have the potential to be life. So I could eat rocks, but I don't think I'd last long. So I treat all life equally and eat everything without discrimination. And point two is everyone's entitled to their own belief. Now, I'm not stupid, I'm only human, and just because I believe something, it doesn't mean that I'm right. I mean, no deity came down and spoke upon me these rules, but It's just the way I think, so I follow them. But that doesn't mean others should follow them as well. If someone else has a different belief, then I can ask about it and they can tell me. They shouldn't force their belief on me and I shouldn't force it on them. So along with that second rule, I usually only talk about my beliefs once with people unless they ask more about it. I've mentioned my wife already in this video, so here's my wife, Chrissy. Together we have 2 kids. Alex, our son, is 4 years old, and Penny, our daughter, is 2 years old. Their favourite game recently has been playing Pirates. So we've got Pirate Alex Beard and Penny Longbottom, and they go on pirate missions throughout the house, which is basically the house chores, just don't tell them. So yeah, there's the 10 fast facts on me, and as I said, we'll be doing a Q&A, so to the computer. Welcome to the Q&A. I have my kids with me, they're kind of helping me with this. Here is Penny, say hello. Hello. And this is Alex, say hello.
Hello.
Not to me, to the camera. Yeah. We're going to start at the bottom, so do you have a girlfriend? And then the comment underneath is, he has kids. I do have kids. Well done. So yeah, well, not really a girlfriend, I have a wife. So yeah, I have a wife. She has her own YouTube channel, so if you want to see her, go check it out over there. Hello, Dad. So I can answer the next 2 questions all in one, really. So it's, what's your favourite movie? And what job do you have outside of YouTube? Well, for a start, YouTube isn't a job. I haven't quite got monetized yet, but I'm working on it. I only need watch time now. But yeah, so the job I have, I work at the cinema. Which is how I was able to do the Avatar 2 facts inside of an empty cinema, because that was the place I worked. And my favourite movie is, well, Avatar. Definitely, by far, which my managers disagree with. Do you watch Doctor Who? No. I've never found the interest in it. My wife used to watch Doctor Who, but I just never saw the appeal to it anymore. I'm going to probably annoy a lot of people with that. Where do you live? Well, England. Can you tell about your studies? Well, yeah, I sucked at school. I did even worse in my first year of college, but that's actually where I met my wife, which is like 11 years ago now. But yeah, with my first year of college, what are you doing? I did animal management, and then I went on to Uniform Public Services because I wanted to be a dog handler in the police, like I've mentioned previously in this video. Why did you start your channel? Money!
Money!
I don't know, I was bored, really. I think even Mr. Beast says everyone starts a YouTube channel because they're bored. How long does it take to edit a normal video and a clone thingy video? Oh wow, rip my question. Okay, no, I'm answering your question, you made it in. So, to do a normal video, it varies a lot because of the length of the video. I mean, to do an animal facts video, it doesn't take me long at all. It's like an hour, 2 hours. The hardest part is actually sourcing the images. When it comes to the clone thingy video, the hardest part is actually getting the green screen to work properly. But that does take the longest. Sometimes they can take me a couple of days to actually finish. But that's also partly to do with these 2. What are you doing now when the cinemas are closed instead of work? Hey, you knew I worked at the cinema. Awesome. Looking after these 2 because they're not at school. I'm trying to do more on YouTube, but it's not really going that way. You having fun there? So yeah, basically I'm just an entertainer at home now. Who or what inspired you to start making YouTube videos? Well, the way I make them, Matthew Santoro, definitely. He also did the clone thingy at the beginning. He actually had alter egos. My favourite was Hugo. He also had Eugene, which I think he used the most. But I have Matthew Santoro facts as well if you wanted to have a look, so check that out. And yeah, I actually mention it there. Super P, you've been quite a good commenter on my videos, so John Joe, here's a fast fact. You joined YouTube on my brother's birthday, 1 day before mine. That is a fast fact, and that's pretty cool. Still not a question, but I'll take it. Thanks. What is your hobby, and can you give me a shout out in the start? I did, and what is your hobby? YouTube. YouTube's sort of a hobby business, so yeah,
What's a hobby business?
isn't it? What is it then?
YouTube.
It's YouTube. Awesome.
YouTube is YouTube.
Do you guys watch YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah? Who do you watch on YouTube?
Again.
Ryan. Yeah, I know you watch Ryan. Ryan's World.
I like Ryan. I like Ryan.
Have you ever had another channel that you tried starting YouTube on? Yeah, actually. And I mentioned one of them. Let's go into this. So, obviously, I've mentioned Dino Joe, which used to be called JD Games, I think. And I also actually made a video for Q equals MC squared. Don't ask. I don't know. I made a Minecraft video and I was just showing them my world if they wanted me to continue it to ask, and I didn't really get any views. Let's check out what I've got on the other channel, and then we can go on to the questions on Twitter. So yeah, this video is good. It's taken off, and it's actually 2 months ago. I'm thinking of actually gaming on this channel again. But yeah, I drank a gallon of milk and I vomited everywhere. I tried to do a zombie vlog, which I thought would be quite cool. Zombie logs. That was one of my first ever attempts at doing a proper thing like this. I was in a bikini top. That's my most viewed video before Jack Sucks at Life's video. And there's my first facts video. Let's go to my oldest video. This is something I made, and I didn't have a screen recorder at the time, so I don't know if my audio records on this at the minute. So yeah, I genuinely made this brick by brick in creative mode. Castle. I have docks over here as well. And this is in a desert, by the way, so every grass block I also placed. My YouTube questions now. I've got to look at my old channel quickly. So yeah, we got what inspired you to make a YouTube channel, and how did you feel when Jack shouted you out? Well, I've already said about the inspiration was Matthews and Toro, but how did I feel when Jack shouted me out? Well, scared, to be honest, because let's have a quick look at it. There's Berryman's video he made on me. Look at that. Go check him out. That was a really good video. The link is in the description if you need it, so just have a quick look over there, because I think we pretty much covered different things anyway, because he teamed up with my wife to make those questions, or answer those questions, you know what I mean. There I am, look at that mug. Yeah, but this is why I got a bit worried, because like, this guy paid for YouTube ads next to my videos. So I didn't really know how his audience was going to react to that, but 174,000 views, that's like many, many more than my whole channel, so it's a bit funny. So yeah, I was a bit worried. I genuinely was a bit concerned about how they'd come across, but like when I was watching it, I thought it was brilliant.
So I got a few tweets the other day, not many, maybe like 5 or so, and here's one of them. They've sent a screenshot of a video I uploaded on my second channel, but underneath it there's an advert, facts about Jack Sucks at Life. So this cheeky little fella has bought adverts to specifically play alongside my videos. Here's another one. So this guy was watching one of my really old videos on Jack Sucks at Life, but over on the side, there it is again, facts about Jack Sucks at Life. So I was like, well, that's interesting. And then it was the next day, and I haven't had a single tweet since, and it's been like 5 days. So I'd be interested to know how much money he spent on this. Because I only got like 5 tweets, I can't imagine he spent a lot of money, because it seems like not that would be good, and he's replied just trying to get more exposure.
I was honest about it. No point in the life. I did pay ads. Look at that green screen, it's terrible.
I'm gonna be honest, John Joe, I'm distracted by lick on my balls, just like hiding there in the background.
That in the background.
Oh, look at this. Look at these epic transitions. He could have done with a big sound effect as well. But overlaying clips from the videos that he's taught.
Not a reaction. Who is the most annoying person you know on YouTube? That YouTuber called Berryman. Definitely. I mean, like, yeah, the most annoying person is Berryman, definitely. So, and I'll mention why in my video. Yeah, he got upset, so I don't want to leave him hanging a bit. So it was the wood lice thing, and you'll see what I mean if you go check out his video. Long shot, I know, but bear with me. Picture you're the face of YouTube. You can speak to every viewer and every YouTuber on the platform for 10 seconds. What do you say? So, number 1, subscribe. And number 2, I guess, you know, stay inside and stay safe at the minute because of the quarantine stuff. So I'd probably just try and make sure that everyone does that. Really? Be a good opportunity for that, I guess. But yeah, so that's all the questions I have, and I'll see you next time with another video. Thank you. Say bye, guys.
Bye. I did it.
Have you? What? What? Huh? Wasn't meant to get you then. Ducks.